We had a question from, I'm gonna say anonymous because I don't remember who the question was from. But the
Still
question
muted.
was... Damn it. No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
Okay. The question was... what was your experience with pets, Kay? This question was for Kay because Loremasterkaae played mostly the Norn Ranger, right?
Yeah.
Played the Norn Ranger, yep. And so what do you have to say about pets in general? Like, were they good? Did they feel like a burden at times? Were they helpful in team, etc.?
Alright, well, I guess we can start off with the selection. When you make your hunter, your ranger, pardon me, little WoW lingo getting in there. When you start with your ranger, at the start of the game, one of the questions I believe, at least I know for the Norn, I don't know if that's the same for every single race, but you'll be given an option to choose your beginning pet. Bear, wolf, leopard, and...
Drake.
Drake. And I chose the bear, personally, because, I don't know, seemed like a good pet
Bears
to have,
awesome.
ferocious.
Yeah, bears are super effective.
But for some people, perhaps it wasn't necessarily the types of pets that they wanted. Perhaps they wanted something a little more exotic. With the Norn starting area, you did have the option of picking up pets really easily, such as you could pick up a raven at the Raven Shrine, or please don't burn me, or you could go to the Leopard Shrine and you could get a snow leopard. You could go and pick up a wolf from the Wolf Shrine or a bear from the Bear Shrine. And I also found an Arctodus in the further in to the zone, and I also found an aquatic lizard. I believe it was a ice lizard. Mm-hmm. That I could tame. And in this case, how you would tame it is you would look for one that was called a juvenile such and such being the name of the animal. And all you had to do was walk right up next to them, and you would get the interaction command, which was F, and you'd hit F, and you'd immediately tame it. And you would have the option of either equipping it immediately or going into your pet panel and choosing which pet that you wanted to use. And so the pet system in that situation was really easy to use. Another thing that was really nice, I thought, about the pets was the pet swapping. You would have 4 pets with you constantly. You'd have 2 for land and you'd have 2 for water. So if you went underwater, you would have immediately a different type of pet that perhaps could breathe underwater. In this case, the bears could breathe underwater, the lizards could breathe underwater. And it seems like there were options for sharks, jellyfish, which actually I found jellyfish in Lion's Arch later on, and an armored fish, which I also found deep within a crevice of Lion's Arch. But if your pet died for some reason, if it was downed, and you didn't want to take the time to res it, you could use the pet swap, which would be F4 on your keyboard. And immediately you'd have the other pet come out, either land or water, whatever environment that you were currently in, and that pet would be out and it would be full health. And something else that I really appreciated was you could have 2 of the same type of pet. So say I tamed a bear. Well, I could have a bear in my land slot 1 and in my land slot 2. And if bear 1 died, I could immediately throw out bear 2, and the bear would go out and do what I wanted him to do. And of course, if that bear died, I might be in trouble because the cooldown for the pet swap wouldn't necessarily match up, and then I'd have to kite like crazy.
That brings up another question, though. When the pet is in, like the one that just died, is in its, whatever, your pocket, does it heal over time?
I do. Technically, it does heal, yes, because when the pet swap for the 3rd death would come up, you would be able to pull out that pet, and it would be at full health.
Okay, so from a combat perspective, do you feel like the ranger is almost like a solo class because the pets are so good at tanking, or do you feel like the pets aren't as useful as they should be?
I found that the bear-type pets have a ability that is innate in them, and it allows them to defy pain for a small amount of time. And in that case, the bears were really great at tanking. But then you had things such as, I found the leopards, the birds, lizards not so much, and I had a dog pet that I picked up in Queensdale. And they fine for releasing really excellent boons, I believe is what it's called, buffs, and those were really nice, but if they tanked a mob for too long, they would drop like crazy. And so they wouldn't necessarily be great for tanking with, but say if you were a melee and you wanted to run in, you could have that pet along with you to help give additional damage, and you would be taking most of the damage itself. So
Okay.
not all pets are going to need shields.
But do you feel, did you, from your experience, was the pet AI good? Was there any way in which you wish it could be improved? Did you ever feel like your pet was being, I don't know how to say this, almost like a chore almost, like having him around?
There were a few glitches that I found, and I mostly used the bear pet because I found it more efficient with my playstyle to have him taking the damage. But there were instances where I would go to attack something and the bear would stay way behind me. He wouldn't attack, even if I hit the F1 command, which would be to prompt him to attack. He would just kind of stand there watching while I took the damage and would be kind of like, oh, good luck there. You want to attack this? Have fun. I'm not going to do your dirty work and be your meat shield. He didn't like being used. Maybe he wanted extra meat in his diet. But,
Oh.
oh, didn't go there. Alright, so I found that also if you jumped off of a ledge, the bear would run back to you, and I found that sometimes that would actually cause part of the glitch where the pet wouldn't react to you. For some reason, he didn't like being left behind, and therefore he was going to listen to you. And a quick fix I found to that would be to just immediately swap out to the other pet. It would set me on cooldown, and I'd have to be more careful. But it was a workaround that I found later on. But overall, I mean, the controls felt pretty good. I think the only thing I might have strongly wished for, coming from a World of Warcraft background, would be I would have liked to see all of the pet abilities that I could trigger and be able to trigger them, not just have the one ability. So, and I would like to be able to see their boons and their conditions that they might have, which I can't see unless I actually have them targeted.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty good. Do any of you guys have anything to add in before we move on to the next topic?
I love throwing axes on rangers.
Yeah.
All I can say is my pet sucked. My pet just completely sucked.
All I can say is I made it to the profession screen and went nope, and then went to the Guardian.
One thing I want to bring up with this whole pet issue is the engineers. Their turret system. I found that if you place it on a ledge in PvP and you want it to shoot down at people, it does not shoot.
I'm sure that's something they'll fix.
Well, it kind of makes sense though I mean, is the turret supposed to be able to point down, or is it only supposed to go left and right?
I don't think it is, actually.
I know, if you think about it, you know, they're engineers and shit, so they know their stuff. You know, dogs can't look up, turrets can't look down.
Hey, come on, they're living in an age where it's already motion tracking them, and you think they would be smart enough to make it on a tilt system too? But no, we don't know what that axis is. No.
Alright, so we're technically in part 2 of the show, even though we had a little question answering from Kay.
Because we like you.
I have one question for all of you. Did any of you get to play an engineer?
Yes.
No.
Saber did.
Okay. Were the landmines as buggy as...
Didn't play with those.
Oh.
I didn't try landmines.
You're useless. I don't love you anymore. We're done. Over.
Fine!
Yeah.
No, I did deal with a lot with the turrets, and I noticed that the turrets weren't really that effective. I don't know. But then again, I was using the turrets when reversing the black moas, so... Okay, the black moa's like, oh, there's a turret! Blah! 8,000 damage!
Very quick question for Kay, and that is from Malibu Barbie. Is your pet named Rat Dog?
I did have a dog named Rat Dog, yes.
Alright, moving on. Part 2 is supposed to be about the Guild Wars 2 economy. So we're going to be talking about the auction house.
Kill all gold sellers.
Yeah, the removing of gold sellers, the no grind economy. So I guess we could just start off. Psycho, what is your opinion on getting rid of gold sellers?
Getting rid of gold sellers, I am in love with their idea of the gem system to money and money to gems. That way you could have that feeling where you're going to go and you're just wanting to go into Korean mode and you want to grind for a couple hours and do absolutely nothing, so you could therefore go do events, do this, do that, earn karma while you're earning money. And say there's something in the gem shop that you like, right? So let's say there was that Ringmaster top hat, which I was going to hopefully try and find a real one today to wear on the show, but unfortunately that didn't work out so well. It balances out really nice so that you could pay for the gems and then you could pay for the top hat, so therefore you don't actually have to spend real life money. Nice hat, Sabre. That way you don't... That's a real distraction. Holy crap. That way you don't have to spend a crap load of money on a game that you bought, and therefore it balances out. It gets rid of the gold sellers completely.
Look at Sabre. He's all like, "What's up, guys?"
What do you want in the hat? I don't know.
How about you, SameGuy?
In general...
go ahead.
In general, it's nice because it balances out. It's gonna feel rewarding, and if you compare it to a free-to-play game where you go, oh yeah, I'm gonna buy the premium and all this other stuff, like Sabre plays World of Tanks. He's probably poured a fair bit of money in it, right?
Yeah, World of Tanks and APB Reloaded. I think it's probably about $300 in APB Reloaded because of premium and other like in-game. Because APB Reloaded is pay to win. World of Tanks kind of has that, but if you do play through World of Tanks at the same tier, because there's like 10 tiers of tanks, if you work yourself to a tier equal to a tier that you've bought, like 7th tier of tank, which is like a lull, the American version of that same tank would be better if you build up to it than that same one. So there is some playthrough you do get a better tank that way. APB Reloaded is completely pay to win.
Exactly, which it would cost more to play an APB free-to-play game versus Guild Wars 2, where you could say pay $150 for the collector's edition, and I have 3 of them. I'm not sure if I should buy a 4th one just to give away, so I'm considering.
Everyone's gonna say yes.
I know, but don't forget.
Give me Mini Char! Give me the Mini Char figurine!
It's going to cost more to play APB versus Guild Wars 2.
Yes.
Right.
So, and I spent $600 on League of Legends because I want to make everything look pretty.
That too.
Now,
that's
what are your guys' views on being able to buy gems with, like, just money that you get off of as drops, like silver, bronze, and gold? SameGuy, you've been pretty quiet.
Yeah, I have been pretty quiet. No, that in my opinion.
His lips don't even move. It's amazing.
It's like some kind of magic, but I like the idea that you can actually buy. You can get gems. You can trade. It's just like, you get kids that really can't be bothered farming out the silver, going, "Mommy, please buy this," and then, that's all well and good. But you got people like me who have spent too much money on League of Legends that don't want to spend money on this, and then. They just go, right, I'm just going to farm this. And then you can buy those gems off that kid. And, you kind of feel good about it. Because you farmed out the money to get it. It makes it that much better for you, knowing
so it feels rewarding.
Exactly.
I earned this.
Whereas the little kid's just like, gems, I'll buy whatever I want. Look at my costumes. And you're like, yeah, whatever, kid.
Yeah, and then you're like, look at this, I crafted this, kid, I look better than you, I'm a warlord.
Right, and at the same time, while ArenaNet is trying to make money off of the, the gems and all that, it also allows you to access those things like the transmutation stones, which I know people will really want because they're skins and stuff that you're going to want for certain weapons, but it's going to allow you to access those things without needing to spend money, which I think is very important. It's like another way to get to that.
And that's what's going to get rid of gold sellers, because there's going to be very minimal supposed profit. Sure, they could buy, hey, this amount of gemstones, and then they'll be like, hey, we'll sell it for $1, I don't know, each.
I don't think it's going to get rid of it completely, though.
But it does cut down on a majority, say, like versus World of Warcraft.
It will cut down. I will say it will cut down on it, but I really don't think it's going to take it away because it depends on how good the economy is of gems transitioning into gold. It really depends on how much, what value you put on gold that you use real money to buy the gems to buy the gold. It really depends on what that value, how much it's valued, and what the stock market's currently at that time. Because usually it's about what was it, like $14 for Guild Wars 1. Bought you like a bunch of plat.
Yeah.
It depends on if that's going to be the case where you say, hey, I'm going to spend $15 on this gold seller site, and I'm going to get like 20 platinum. Where if I spend the $15 and buy gems, I'm only going to get 10 platinum. So it really depends on the money efficiency of the gold, the gems, to real money. That it depend. I think it really depends on that.
I think,
but that also brings.
This is going to happen is with these little gem gold combinations. There was an auction house, wasn't there? Was it a player auction house?
There was a trader. Sure. There was a trader kind of person thing. Yeah.
So it was just like you talk to them and then you see if somebody was selling that particular thing. Am I getting that right? I don't really, because I looked at it and I thought, oh, I'd like to buy that, but then I thought, how, you know? But if there wasn't,
okay, go ahead. Yeah. Sorry, no.
I'm just, dude, I don't know what I'm talking about anymore.
Well, there was a trader. There was a trader telling you the ratios and the current like value of this equals this. There was a trader in game that actually told you this. So that was kind of cool, I thought, though. So.
Right.
But was there?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Was there an actual auction house?
I believe there was, because I think I remember somebody like bought like there was these axes being sold, and there was like a stack of axes in one spot, and they wanted to buy one axe, and they ended up buying 3 of them because they only clicked it once. Because it wasn't specific on, oh, you're going to buy all 3 of these axes if you spend this money. So instead of spending like 1 platinum, she ended up spending 3 platinum, and she didn't want the other axes. So there is some, I guess there's going to be a learning curve to where it's going to be.
Well, if there's going to be auction houses, then I kind of don't like the gem system.
There is an auction house.
And there is a gem system. You get both.
The gem system is going to be completely different. That's for like cosmetics and stuff.
Right.
But a lot of people are going to say, oh, I'll get some gold. They'll sell the gems for gold and get money, and that'll make some items useless.
That's the thing.
Just drive the economy into the ground.
Exactly. That's the big question that everybody's thinking. Like, is the gems going to really mess with the economy of the gold? Because they are linked.
Yeah. Because like in World of Warcraft, like in the auction house, you know, I was the kind of guy that would AFK, and I had an add-on, of course, that would track all my stuff, and I was just making money and money, which is something I want to do in Guild Wars 2. I want to be that rich guy where you guys come up to me and be like, give me my money, please.
Yeah, but at the same time, you don't want everyone being the rich guy, because then everyone's going to be the guy.
So you like being the pimp. You like being the pimp in game.
You want the guys that play the market so that you can have that chance.
Exactly.
I'm lazy. I just tell like one of the guys in Context Gaming who can get like any item he wants in the game, and I say, hey, I need this, and he just gives it to me. And I pay him for that.
Yeah,
nice I get a discount too.
Get this from this guy for me? Yeah, thanks.
I did that. It's like somebody's like, oh, I needed this. I'm like, okay, let me go get my contact. And I tell him, like, hey, I need this in about an hour. And then in under an hour, he goes find the item, gets it for me, and I pay for him for a discount.
You just like go. He says like, dude, we need to meet up, and he's like, well, I got this alley, and it's really dodgy. Hey,
I got some watches here for you.
so cool.
That brings a good memory. What you buying? What you selling?
So, how about Kay? Do you think that gems will, in a way, be an easy way to get rich because you can spend $10 for some gems and then sell them for a ridiculous price, because gems will be controlled by the players. Gem price will be controlled by the players.
As far as I'm aware, you cannot mail the gems out, so you won't be able to set your own price. The price will be, I believe, based in the market off of the availability of the gems. So, like, perhaps one day 100 gems is worth 4 silver. Well, a couple of weeks later, there's enough money in the system. A lot of people have spent their gems. The gems aren't quite as available as they were in the system. So now 100 gems is going for 1 gold. I think that that's the kind of system that we'll get, and I don't think that it's going to be quite as abused as people is maybe concerned about, personally.
Now, 1 gold is a pretty large amount of money. I know that I only got to level 26 playing in the beta, but I never really went past like 50 silver. Sorry.
Well, when you think about it, you're getting money from mobs that you kill, just a couple copper, of course, but mobs you kill, events that you complete, and the heart tasks, the renown tasks, or whatever they're called. But I noticed that the heart tasks give you an increased amount of money as you go up. So right now, of course, the starting area where we were in the Wayfarer foothills, we may have started off with perhaps just about a silver at some point. Well, by the time I was in the Snowden Drifts, which is the next level up for the Norn, I was seeing 2.5 silver, and I mean that's just 2 zones. And if you're doing everything, I'm assuming that you could get that 1 gold without any issues, especially if you're being frugal, you're not dying and repairing, and perhaps you're using your karma to get your gear, or you're crafting your gear instead of spending that money.
That's
so I
think I really like.
Yeah, so I think if you're being intelligent with and frugal, you won't have necessarily as much trouble getting up the money that you need. And additionally, I think if people get rare gear, perhaps I could see them selling that on the trading post and getting money that way as well. I think there's and same with the harvesting. I think that there's going to be people out there that are going to go ahead and invest in the harvesting tools and are going to sell those things off, because I think there's going to be a lot of people out there that are going to look at the harvesting tools and say, oh, this isn't worth it, I don't want to spend the money. Well, then those people who are harvesting are going to go, oh, well, I can spend all this, take all this harvesting stuff that I just got and sell it to the crafters. And I think that there's, I don't know, I can see a lot of ways to get money in the game right now.
That's another thing. The crafting system itself is going to pay off big time for people that are like, okay, I don't want to take the time to attempt to learn this or figure this out, and I'll just go buy it off the market, and that's it's another thing that I like, because I like to craft. Like, I'll go and farm my materials for, say, 2 hours, and then go back and be like, okay, let's make stuff.
Right. Another thing I want to bring up is the non-competitive economy that we're seeing. You don't have to compete for resources. If you have a copper node and you use it, someone else can use it right after you, because each individual has their own, like resource nodes. Do you guys feel like this will make crafting extremely cheap, or will trying to make money off of crafting resources be, I don't know, not very effective?
Dude,
it depends on the person.
I really hate it. Really, really
hate it.
Why? Because if you're crafting, you want to make some money off of somebody. They want a sword. Nobody else has got it. But materials, you can get them, because we used to work on a tip system off of World of Warcraft. Like, if you had the materials and stuff, they'd tip you. And the tips were based on, oh my god. My brain just farted.
His brain exploded.
Like, as long as this person had the skill to make it, you could give them the materials, and they'd tip you.
And you were wanted, and you were always added on somebody's friends list, and you were wanted. This whole non-competitive thing with resources is just,
I find it
blows my mind. It blows my mind. Like, where's the fun in it? It's like you just camp one node and just wait till he's done, and then grab it, and then follow him to the next node, and then wait till he's got it and grab it. Where's the fun?
Well, I find it as a positive, negative kind of thing. I mean, you got the people that are too lazy, and like the kids, they'll just be like, "Hey, I wouldn't buy it off the auction house, mommy. Pay for it." So they'll be like, "Okay, here's my credit card. Just don't spend." Next thing you know, there's $600 wasted. So therefore, in a way, it's good and bad, because you're going to be feeding off the lazy people, the lazy gamers, versus the ones that actually want to go out and feel that awesomeness of creating something that's so cool. Even though other people could create it, you're going to know that there's people out there that are too bloody lazy to do it.
Right.
So we're all kind of saying there are definitely flaws in the economy system.
Right.
Yes.
Well, at the same time, I've noticed that if you want to get things like iron or silver, you're going to have to put money into better mining tools.
Mm-hmm.
You start off with, I don't remember what they're called, like
Rough,
right. But then you have to go into like fine mining picks. Or
get like rough picks, rough
and
sickles, and upgrade.
Right, and if you try to use those, then say you try to use a rough pick with iron, an iron vein, you'll get like crappy iron. Right.
Get one
instead
iron
of getting
versus
like 3.
Yeah.
Which is it pays off, but obviously you're gonna have to put some money into resource collection if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another way to make it kind of make it.
Yeah,
they're also trying to get money.
Won't necessarily sell it for as cheap because, well, the smart ones won't, because they're going to be balancing it between the cost of the harvesting tools, the time that it took them to harvest it, and of course, the amount they got.
Exactly, they want to be paid for their time and effort.
Right. I really do think that there's going to be a lot of people who are going to look and they're not going to bother with harvesting at all. Like,
yeah.
I think.
Way to go, Punchki.
Yeah, so I don't necessarily think that the gathering materials are going to be as cheap as people may necessarily fear.
I mean, this is speculation, obviously, but maybe because we've only had a chance to play the low-level stuff. In the future, you know, you'll end up buying like one pick to get one piece of mining resource. It might. We don't know. This is a pure speculation, but it might end up being something very expensive, and in that way, making it pay off.
Yeah, I mean, we've only seen like what 1-2% of the entire game, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen up to what perhaps level 20 worth of stuff.
Right.
Most people, at least.
Yeah.
I'd say the greater majority.
And who knows, this stuff that you can get that's going to be super hard to make a super awesome weapon. But you might just be, there might just be one node in a huge ass area.
Right.
And some people are just going to be like, I can't be bothered. I really can't.
They said that it might not be easy to get to everything. Like you might find a silver node being guarded by a spider queen or something like that.
I did encounter that.
Yeah, you didn't encounter that.
There were veteran mobs that would be located with a group of, such as Snowden Rifts. There was silver vein that was up in the corner, and then it was a cave of polar bears. And they had a veteran polar bear surrounded by a bunch of other polar bears. And I had to get in there, carefully pull them out one by one in order to get to that node. And I had to do it at a speed at which I could get to the node before respawn started, which was fairly
right.
The bears.
That's another thing. Respawn timers. Oh my.
They can be okay. One thing you have to watch out for is if you're playing solo, going into like a spawner area, don't run backwards.
Yeah.
Don't run back.
Dude, you can't run backwards. It's just like backpedaling. It's like I try to backpedal and I'm just like, oh my god, this is not World of Warcraft. I need to stop.
Well, the thing is, you keep running back into more mobs, and you're like, oh dear God, what is going on?
Yeah,
because they respawn before you kill the next one.
There's times when
summoning powers, and they had these ice elementals and ice things blowing up everywhere around you.
And then the Svanniers that had the giant two-hander, when they fly at you, they leave those ice bombs behind them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I laughed
There were also those ones
how many
that like
people got destroyed by that.
There was that one spawner that like smacked you with a hammer, and then you were turned into a piece of ice for a good like 3 seconds.
Oh, that's
that was
I don't think I fought that guy.
Well, there were times for me though that like the spawning times weren't fast enough because like there was this char thing where you had to kill these flame region guys. There was only 2 of them that would spawn, one here and one here, and they were so slow at respawning. It took this little quest thing about, I want to say about 8 or 9 minutes because the spawn times were way too slow. So sometimes they're too slow. They need to be rebalanced.
I'm pretty sure the Norns could share their spawn time.
Yeah.
Please.
Yes. All right. So this kind of ties into the economy, but loot. what do you guys want to see in loot? Because I know some people were a little disappointed in mostly getting metal scraps, and then once in a while when they did get some sort of gear like a gun or a longbow, they weren't able to use it by their profession.
We need to pillage more.
They need to what?
Pillage more.
Well, what are you guys' thoughts on loot? I know that some bosses would only spawn like a chest that would give you a regular loot just like any other normal non-veteran mob would give.
For loot, I thought it was decent. Could use a little more, say,
salt and pepper.
So yeah, vendor trash. It could use a little more vendor trash versus stuff that you actually pick up. So like you could pick up, oh hey, there's this bow. Okay, cool. Well, I want a little bit of vendor trash because me personally, I'm gonna do pretty much everything on my Norn warrior. I want to craft. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to cook. I'm gonna be like this amazing guy that has 20 arms and I do everything.
But you can't beat me.
Exactly. I'll be like Gorin from Mortal Kombat or whatever his name was. But it doesn't feel like it's rewarding enough to just farm stuff, whereas you could craft and get more from that than looting.
Yeah. At the same time, I feel like you were also getting a lot of stuff that you could salvage. I feel like they really wanted to make it pay off for you to buy salvaging kits and salvage the materials and work that into your crafting. So you, like you said, Psycho, you almost become the jack of all trades, and you are self-dependent in terms of resources.
Yeah, because I hate buying other stuff from people that are like, hey, you want this piece of iron? 50 gold, please! And it's like, no.
or team.
Yeah. I know I found myself buying like 2 salvage kits, and anything that I got, if it was salvageable, boom, that's what I did.
Yeah, at the same time, I feel like salvage kits were a little underpriced. You could get them for like 20 karma. And I was like, I love the salvage kits.
Oh, that's one thing I want to ask. That's one thing I want to ask. Do you think the karma system and the gold system were equal? Because I found out it was easier to buy stuff with karma than it was to buy with gold.
Gear, yes.
I think what they're trying to do is eliminate the gold system for the most part of the game, because you want karma, you want to be known, and the term of karma makes you like, okay, I'm this awesome warrior guy, people know me, yay, world travels fast, so I'm going to get this awesome gear from these specific people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But, and that's it. Awesome gear. Gear. What is wrong with me? It's like 2 o'clock in the morning, guys.
Coffee!
Is it really?
Yeah, well, for me.
In Europe.
Oh.
I know that
where'd the time go?
in terms of gears, some people were a little disappointed with the skins, and that if you wanted a really nice skin, you had to, in the beta itself, you had to go to the trading post, buy either get gems or put in credit card information to get gems, and then make use the transmutation stone with something that you bought from someone who got like this random drop from somewhere.
But that's how ANET's gotta make some of their money, is by the skins. That's why they get the gem system with the transmogrifier, or whatever the hell they want to call it. I mean, that's part of that.
Well, I don't think it's not necessarily impossible either to find really nice gear, because I know that in Snowdown Drifts I found a really excellent greatsword skin that had glyphs and whatnot. Yeah, the Jotun one. I think if anybody was following my Twitter, you probably saw the picture at some point.
Yeah, I saw that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Am I the only one that had mediocre crap?
Well, it depends. If you bought all your
We're level 20s, you're gonna get crap at the low levels. Come on, guys.
If you bought all your armor from the traders in what is it called?
Weaponsmiths, armor smiths.
Yeah, the weapon and armor smiths in the Norn area. They would all look either like the scale armor, the ring armor, or the chain armor. But if you got armor from the vendors, you got some pretty badass looking stuff.
Right.
So I'm just gonna let you guys know now. I'm actually on webcam, and I've been holding that pose the entire time.
This is control.
That's what I look like when I'm in the auction house. Oh, really?
Please do not mistake him as a mannequin. I mean, that's all we ask.
You want to sell that mini putt for this much?
Huh?
Really?
Really?
Excuse me, sir, but I think your price is too high.
Do you guys feel like ArenaNet is going to make a lot of money, or will...
Yes.
Because right off the bat, I already said this on, I'm pretty sure, Facebook, but I'm going to spend $70 right off the bat, buy gems. There you go. Just support from a couple months.
We can go around, but I know that I want to buy more character slots. I want to buy transmutation stones, because I always have to look
all that die.
I don't care. I gotta look at that.
Well, I could go with a die a little bit. You can buy that in game.
All that pink die.
Red and white. Have all the mini pets, all the mini pets, all the mini pets, all the mini pets, even more mini pets.
Pink dye better be free in October.
Yes. But like, is there anything else that you guys are really looking forward to being able to buy through the in-game store?
Other than character slots?
Costumes. I love costumes. Just for the fact of socializing.
I expect I'll get like bank tabs and just save a lot of things. Yeah.
Actually, it's probably going to be extra character slots for me because I'm an altaholic.
Yeah.
Altaholic here, I want one of each profession for me.
Mule characters if your storage is full.
Well, I guess we could start wrapping up with some random discussion.
Questions! I can't see chat, so you guys need to do that for me.
Before we get into questions, what do you guys hope to see in Endgame?
I hope to see some...
Zaitan?
I want a hard boss fight. I want
really?
Really?
I want to kill Tormag.
I want a boss fight where, you go to it and it's not face roll like all these other games that are coming out. It takes you months to kill one boss. That's what
dude, are you talking about like the large event outdoor bosses?
I want to see raids. I want to see 10.
Because I played like Final Fantasy XI for 4 years, and if you've ever heard any of the horror stories for Final Fantasy XI with their outdoor and game bosses, I mean that's not fun. People would start that, and it would, in one mistake or one server down, and bam, like months of work, or weeks of work gone.
I think that even if it is hard, like I want it to be, that's gonna bring a smaller but more close-knit community, and it's gonna make you a better gamer as a whole.
See, bashing on one target for 2 weeks? Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think it's going.
How is going to make me a better gamer?
Yeah, I'll just lay my turrets down over here, go sleep. See you guys.
Here we go, ready? I'm doing this for the next 2 weeks. This is fun.
Well, maybe not a better gamer, but it's just gonna be...
Hey, look, I swing a sword. I swing a
sword. Hey, I'll swing it again. Hey.
Oh, I feel a lab joke going on.
Oh, boy.
I know what I want to see in Endgame is more story, not just random dynamic events that happen, but dynamic events that makes a lot of sense with the lore.
That's one thing I want to see is exactly
like
what you said.
You won't just be seeing random mobs spawning, but you'll be seeing like a guy saying like, oh, years ago this place used to be this and this, now it's this, these guys are here, help me get rid of them, etc.
That's one thing, yes, I will agree. But I want to see one big, and I mean like huge story quest that anybody could jump into, right? That leads to a giant siege war.
Yeah.
Like this, you could get the whole server on this if you really want. Well, not really the whole server, but like
server end to overflow.
Server end, yes, exactly.
Maybe like a giant meta event filled with lore, perhaps. Like
exactly, and you could just lead into this giant enemy NPC village full of say centaurs and Svanir and Char, whatever enemy legion, all working together. And then next thing you know, boom, Jormag shows up, and it's like, whoa! So, it could lead up to something like that. Just something that has a lot of story and community play.
Do you think that they would let us actually fight an Elder Dragon during this?
I hope they
do. Be an expansion?
I really hope they do, because if they don't, I will go down to ANET. They live 3 hours away from me, and I will slap all the developers in the face.
They said we get to fight Zaitan in this game. Only Zaitan. But do you guys think that Zaitan should be...
That is the end of the that is the end of the game. But the thing is you guys don't have to really worry about endgame story, like what's going to happen after endgame, because we already know there's 3 other dragons. You got Primordia still, you got Kakatorok still, you got Jormag still. There's going to be
You got bubbles.
Yeah, bubbles. Right. But yeah, I mean, there's going to be expansions on top of this or other releases of the game beyond Zaitan, because we already know there's 3 or 4 other dragons already out there, so we don't have to worry about that.
All right, last question for you guys before we open up for viewers' questions. I have one more. Do you guys want to see Zaitan as a dynamic event or a personal story?
Both.
Sorry, what was that?
Do you want to see Zaitan, the battle with Zaitan, as a dynamic event or a personal story?
I might like a lead-in as a personal story, but I think that I would definitely want it as a dynamic event because I really adore the idea of so many people coming together and the community coming together to fight this one beast. And okay, sorry, somebody was knocking on the door.
What are you doing in there?
My train of thought just totally out the window.
I'll pick it up. I'll pick it up for you. Well, the only reason why you couldn't make it a personal story instance because it's only going to be 5 of you fighting just giant dragon, and I don't think 5 y'all are going to be killing one dragon. Even though it did happen in
I'm a Norn. I can take on Jormag. Go away.
I am Norn. I kill dragon. But I mean, but in all seriousness, like I know that in the book, which book was it? The second book.
Destiny's Edge.
Destiny's Edge. Thank you. That there was 7 of them plus 7 of them trying to fight Krakatoa, but they also had Glint with them. So there's no way.
Spear or something. I don't remember what it was. A tooth, something. I don't remember. Anyways,
yeah, the tooth of whatever that Norn tooth there. Yeah, tooth.
All right, so this is the question section of the show now. We had one question that I wrote down, which is the Elementalist. He is known as the Great Destroyer by some people. Especially the Elementalist with daggers. Have you guys had experience with that?
Yes, I have. I love, and I'm going to say this over and over and over, even though as much as I hate playing casters, I loved playing the Earth Elementalist with daggers.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. You could do everything. If the next beta event happens at the end of May, I will play a good 5 hours of the Elementalist with daggers on stone. It's ridiculous. Even though it looks like you're giving somebody a prod up the butt with your normal attack, it's like, hey.
Do you feel like it's overpowered at all?
Not necessarily overpowered. I did get taken down fairly fast, which was kind of spooky if you got 2 thieves on you. But with the controlling effect that you could cause for other people and turn into this giant tornado as your ultimate, you shouldn't necessarily have a problem keeping yourself alive, but if they stay on you, you're done. Right. But the Norn, or not the Norn, the Elementalist,
you Norn,
daggers, Earth Spec is just ridiculously fun. So much AoE, so much AoE.
The same guy, you said you played Elementals too, right?
Yeah. I didn't really experiment too much with the daggers, unfortunately, but I created an Elementalist and I went straight into PvP with it with staves, and I was just hanging out in water, the water thing, and there's no. It kind of, it's like I kind of wanted to run around like a healer because that's my WoW mentality kicking in, and it kind of worked.
Boo, Holy Trinity.
Yeah, but except in the PvP aspect, and I like to be able to have that choice with the elements that you can heal, and I think that they were the best healer.
Right.
Staff.
Yeah.
All right. So at this point, you guys in the chat, I know we've been pretty busy talking about random stuff, but if you have any questions that you want to ask us, now is the time. I guess I wrote down something, and we can answer this very shortly. An anonymous person asked, did anyone roll a warrior class, and what weapon sets did they use,
I did.
And if they found it stronger than other weapon sets? So,
I did. This chat.
Nominate me!
Everything on the warrior.
Did you find that one weapon set was stronger than the other in any case?
In some cases, yes. And in some cases, it was more of what's going on around you to choose what kind of weapon you wanted to use. Like, I was using sword and shield with all tank spec type stuff. I wasn't dealing too much damage, but I could still whittle people down, knock them down, throw them over here, do this, do that. And with your adrenaline skill, you could just, hey, there's me, playing the warrior. Okay.
That's what I'm here for.
An example, you can see that I'm using the dual axe. The spin to win move, the 5 skill, was ridiculous if you could get in the middle of a group of enemies and you have people with you to support you. You could take down anybody because the AoE is so strong. Now, if you wanted to go with the sword and board, you could bleed people, cripple them, knock them down, and do like this really fast sword attack that was just ridiculously strong. But you're not putting out as much damage as you would with the dual-wielding axes. Now, when it comes to comparisons, say, with the warrior and a thief, right? The thief would still output much more damage, but you're squishier. So, therefore, the heavier armored warrior could possibly win if the Norn thief... Oh, why do I keep saying Norn? doesn't do his job properly and doesn't outplay you. So, the warrior in itself, with whatever weapon type you're using, you only have to know what you're doing, and you could kill everything.
Right. All right. So next question is from Cookie.
Hey,
I
Cookie.
wanted to know, what do you think the replay will be like? Can you see yourself happily doing the events over and over happily? Happily.
Yes. I don't think that I would take the same path every time, but I think that like I might go start this zone this one time, I level up to 80, and then the next time I level up to 80, I might go through a different set of zones. I think that the amount of paths, like I think it would last for a couple months, if not like a year, of experiencing everything brand new before you actually are looking at possibly redoing some of the stuff that you've done before. And even then, I think that it had been so much time has passed that you may be doing the content and going, oh, I forgot about this, and oh, I don't remember this the first time I went through it, and I'm going to do it again. And I think a lot of it is also going to be affected by the dynamic event system where you go through a zone, and perhaps this event didn't occur the last time you went through because perhaps the requirements for this event to happen didn't actually get fulfilled the first time you were going through, whereas this time somebody else did it, and now you're seeing what may have happened, and so it becomes a totally different
experience.
Yes,
yeah.
thank you.
Right, and
just like
because,
the Shadow.
Right, because Guild Wars 2 is such a huge project, I'm sure they're not going to automatically start working on a new game as soon as they release. They will be giving us updates all the time, and I think we might see they'll be like, we added so many dynamic events to this area, or we added this to this area, and people will be like, oh, that's cool, I'll go check that out. And we will have the expansions, which I think is a fantastic idea. They're continuing it from Guild Wars 1. I think
like
expansions...
Come
Dragons
on, don't you like rolling through Chinatown with all those and Guild Wars 2 graphics with dynamic events? You got ninjas popping down from everywhere, and you're just like, oh my god, I'm overwhelmed! Oh, pretty colors! Oh crap, I'm dead!
Are we still talking about Guild Wars 2?
We're still talking about Guild Wars 2.
Well,
Another thing...
well, for the events, though, I think the world events, I think the world events for me will get old. The personal story, which is what Kay was kind of leaning to, like I rolled a Char Necro, and then I rolled a Char Necro that was from Ash, and a Char Engineer that was from Iron, and the two storylines were completely different. The Char Iron Engineer storyline was like I had to make this ghost bore musket to shoot a bunch of ghosts in the face, versus the Char Ash Necro was a lot of espionage, kind of spying on the Flame Legion. So there were two totally different storylines. So yes, the replay value is going to be really, really high, especially in what faction you kind of choose to kind of roll yourself with, at least for Char wise. And I didn't play multiple human directions like the rich guy versus the poor person, or the Norn with like wolf versus leopard versus like that. And I'm sure those storylines are going to be different as well. So the replay value story, personal story, yes, it's going to be great replay. But for world events, that's going to get old, I think, after a couple times through.
Yes, going along with Saber when he was talking about you've got these different paths for initially starting off. I think that we're also going to see different paths that we can take that totally change the story for us midway as well. I mean, did anybody's storylines in the beginning start with any like the Order of the Whisperers or the other two sects? Because I know that I encountered them in Lion's Arch, but I'm assuming they're going to be big parts of our personal stories, and who knows what directions when we pick our group that we belong to, where we're going to go with those. So I mean, that's another thing too.
And you also have to remember is that no matter where you are, you're going to scale to the level of the zone, which I think is important. You know, you're never going to feel like the game's too easy. You're always going to scale to make the game challenging. So I just thought that's a good way to wrap up that question. Our next question
in chat. I want to.
Yeah,
I do
go
this
ahead,
one?
Psycho.
All right,
go ahead, Psycho.
Mounts for world versus world versus world. I say no, absolutely not.
But what if
No
the
mounts.
mount? What if the mount is a warbear with rockets and a rainbow coming out of its butt?
Well,
Oh
no,
my god.
no, this is not. No.
Rainbow
No.
ponies.
Yay!
Oh, you just drove off Punchki. There you go.
It's like I'm out here. You're talking about unicorns and no.
He's just like bears with rainbow trail. No.
I'm out. Later.
But no, I think that mounts for world versus world should not be there.
Mounts
for
period.
For whatever supply points that you control, you should be able to maybe sort of kind of have kind of like the fast travel that you see in PvE, maybe around that. But if it's contested, boom, done, and then it can transfer to whatever server currently holds that supply point. Now for the castle, there would be absolutely no fast traveling to it because it's such a big place. It would be ridiculous if you got all of your team in there and they die and then they would get back in there. Unless they automatically put it in contested when there's fighting around the gates by a certain parameter or perimeter.
I feel like also mounts would be something that if, you know, mounts in games like, what was that?
World of Warcraft.
Warhammer Online, they were expensive, right?
No, they weren't. No.
Some of them were. I feel like they would be giving an unfair advantage in PvP, where you'd see people, you know, you can enter PvP in world versus world at any level, and you don't want other people to have that advantage over you because they have a mount. They've been able to afford a mount, and you're just starting out.
See, but that's
just my opinion.
What they should do, what I think is what may be good to have is, say, like, when you're doing your supply line with the Dalyak, you could have, say, like little fortified carts or something that you could have maybe a catapult on top of, and that would be considered a mount, but you move at the same pace as this Dalyak, right? So it's not really a mount, but it's more of, hey, I don't have to push this button, all I have to do is move my mouse and then aim.
I think I'm pretty happy with them not having mounts.
If you're looking at mounts for a speed increase, look at what Roland wrote in the chat. He's like, yeah, Ranger has Signet of the Hunt, which increases your speed permanently by 10%. And I think that a lot of classes are going to have those either innate or usable abilities that are going to make them speed up, and I think that they've given us those utility skills for if you're in PvP perhaps, you want to get somewhere really quickly, all you need to do is shift around your bars a little bit and equip this utility, swap out this utility, put this in here, and you can get places a little bit faster.
Yeah,
So.
just like
I mean, like
the Warhorn, it boosts everybody around you so that you go.
Right.
I'm not sure if it was 33%, but
Right,
it was a fairly decent speed, and it was everybody, so you could just charge.
Well, even the
Run
engineer,
away!
even the engineer with his like heal pack, like the heal pack backpack, like he had like his 5 skill that got swapped out was a skill that increases your speed, and it increases speed for about 50%, or about half the recharge of the skill. So it sped you up for a good about, I want to say about 7-8 seconds. So even the engineer had a speed boost skill.
Right.
For movement.
And the last thing is that the waypoints also kind of make bounce useless because you can get almost anywhere you want using waypoints.
After you spend a boatload on the waypoint to buy it, and then if it gets taken back, then you gotta spend another boatload to get back to that waypoint again.
Gold sinks.
Gold sinks, yes.
That's
Alright, last question.
Hell of a gold sink in
is from
PvP.
an anonymous person. What weapons would you guys like to see in expansions? And I'm gonna also add, do you guys want weapons added in expansions?
Boats!
Well, yeah.
Boats?
Yeah, I want to be able to carry a boat. I don't know why, I just want to be able to just put a boat on my shoulder and go, yeah, what's up, I got a boat.
Kind of like the good old Nordic folk of way back when. Just, hey, there's a mountain in the way. Push the boat over the mountain.
Not even like that, dude. It's just like, wear it as a hat.
Oh my god.
Are we talking about specific weapons or skins or?
Well, like
I would like
Peter
to see
just
a
said,
Well, skins,
why is there
because-
no double-handed axe, or why is there no halberd, or something like
A
that.
halberd would be amazing. I think
A lot of people cried when there wasn't something like that. When they said, actually, it did say they were going to put that in the game, and then they turned around and said, "No, we're not going to do that anymore," and that like killed a lot of people.
Maybe an expansion, like maybe. I mean,
Maybe
when we
it'll
go to
be a skin.
Alonia, we'll get the skies and stuff back.
If
And-
Alonia's still there and Abaddon didn't resurrect and be like, hey, guess what?
Yeah.
Still alive!
I think it's like to be able to get halberds and tridents and stuff above ground. Because it doesn't make sense how you can only just use a spear and a trident under the water. Like, why can't I use a spear in one hand and a shield in the other?
Because you're not a paragon. You're wearing pants. You don't have a skirt.
And you're not a Spartan.
It's all about the skirt.
Warriors will have that.
No. Or why not have a weapon like, you know, it doesn't even matter. Norn still had gladiators, and in fact I think some of the fighting styles were trident and net came from them.
No, that was the Romans.
That was the Romans, but it's okay. You're okay.
I know, it's 2 in the morning, come on, give me a break.
What came from the Gladiator was...
You live closer!
It was a spiked tar shield and a ridiculously oversized axe.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool if you could have like nets in your offhand. You know, things that you slow people down with, and then engineers got glue, which is awesome.
Well, that's...
Splooge on all the enemies.
Guess what, guys? I'm excited!
Okay, that's it. Chris took
Moving
it.
on.
That's it. I'm topped. I've been topped.
Oh my god.
Anyways, yeah, I think that wraps it up for the
Oh, no more questions? There's gotta be another one or two more.
I don't
Oh,
see
really?
it.
I have one.
Alright. You guys got...
This is another PvP question. Go figure, right? Going from Psycho to PvP
right.
is so obvious. But for World
Sorry.
vs. World, should you be able to have a proper organized, like the raid bars? I don't know what you guys call them in Warhammer. We call them raid bars, or heal grid, heal squares, for proper like targeting of the people on your team, so that you could support them, so that you could see where they're at, what they're doing. If you want to organize your team to be, hey, we're going to stop these reinforcements for getting there, so we're going to position ourselves, and then you're able to click on the target that you want to see to make sure everybody's in position, and then you coordinate an attack, right? So
I feel like what they should do is they should add a system where it's able to track how much influence you have on the world versus world map. Like, say you've been running around for a couple hours, taking out supply posts or
I think it
attacking a
does.
fortress. I think the person that's on top should be like the commander, and he should be able to make waypoints on the world versus world map for people. So like, next we're going to this, so that
yes,
everyone
that
knows.
would be amazing.
Like a
I'd agree with
commander.
Yeah, it's just like, why not give them artillery as well, you know?
Kay, do you have any world versus world ideas?
No, but I think that would probably change once I have some experience with it.
Next beta, right?
Yes,
beta.
next beta.
All right. Have any of you had experiences with the guild system, such as politics and upgrades and stuff like
Not
that?
too much.
Not too much. My guild Servants of Fortuna did do some guild stuff. I was not with them very much, though, unfortunately. Next beta, I am going to be with them more to try to learn some of that. So next beta, I'll see if I can get some guild stuff for you guys.
I
All right.
definitely think that all the options available will attract a lot of big guilds around there. Or around
Well, there was
the
one guild that I was
GuildWars2Live guild, I think they claimed something in the World v. World where
Ain't
they were
Afraid
able
No Ghost did as well. I think they claimed
Yeah.
the actual keep. for a little bit. But aside from that, I do like the whole idea with the guild emblem has to be earned so that people would soon recognize you when you're building your guild up. Politics and all this other stuff have to be earned instead of just bought.
Mm-hmm.